Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Nerds and Words. I'll be your host, Tim Allen1337, joined as always by a man who looks so old but speaks so sarcastically that he scares away young e-girls with scam talk shows on Twitch. Johnny Sins, welcome.
Whoa, why do we have to bring that up already?
I mean, Moreland TV.
Man, that wasn't even supposed to be public.
Whoops. And, well, it's an inside joke then. Nobody gets it. And Potion Shop TV. I probably should have made something funnier for you, but you're just not that interesting, I guess, this week.
If I sound different, it's because I've had alcohol.
Oh, wow. Shout out to Yingling.
How much alcohol have you had?
I got sober for the stream or podcast, so it's good.
What do you mean you got sober?
I was intoxicated, and then now I'm not. Yeah.
Why are you not?
Well, I've been not drunk for every podcast so far, so I figured I'd keep things similar.
He's definitely still drunk, right? Like 100% chance that he's still drunk?
I wouldn't say 100% chance. I'm not really an expert on drinking.
Wait, how's that not possible? You're not an expert on it. Wait.
Someone saying, "Don't worry, I just got sober," is something that only a drunk person would say.
Well, I guess we'll have to find out through the podcast. Listen to the rest of it.
I don't think we'll be able to tell, to be honest.
I've never said that, so what does that say about me?
That you're never not drunk?
I woke up this morning still drunk. How about that? I was playing Call of Duty very late with Good Vibes Guy.
Yo, I watched you play some Overwatch. It was good.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. So let's actually do this podcast. Sorry. Let's start off as we always do by talking about our weeks. Potion, you want to start off?
All right, my big news of the week is I got a Pin Ogre pre-ordered. So that's my big thing this week. Pretty proud of it. I sold all my life skilling gear, and I'm done with life skilling because I keep nerfing it. And so yeah, that's my big thing.
Wow, how much life skill shit did you sell? Did you have like any set models or anything?
I sold 6 tri-accessories, 2 clothes, a pin butchering knife, and I sold about 800,000 Valencia mills. And somehow the market didn't crash, which is pretty impressive. So,
wow.
Yeah, all that added up to be enough for a Pin Ogre, roughly.
I've been excited to talk to you about this because your stream was a little misleading.
Oh, it jumped all over the place. It was great. I didn't know what was going on.
Okay, well, that's fine. You had like a 3-day counter, and you're like, if I don't get Pin Ogre or 5 days, I'm gonna delete my Tech Crescent.
Yeah, so I basically had to motivate myself to do this, right? So originally it was going to be a Tet Ogre, and if I didn't get the Tet Ogre in a set amount of time, then I would delete my Tech Crescent. And then chat was like, "We can't let you delete that." And then I was like, "What do you want me to do? You should enhance it." And I was like, "All right, whatever." So then we changed the rules so I could do either one, right? And chat was going to vote. And so then halfway through, I was like adding up how much money I was making with butchering. I was like, "Bro, this is garbage." And the Oasis event has basically crashed the Black Gem Fragment market into current economy of BDO. So those are minimum price and flooded. So I was just making no money. I was losing like 30 million an hour at least from that. So then I was like, well, that's the same amount of money I can be making with grinding now. So like, why am I not just grinding, getting EXP? Why am I life skilling, right? So then I was like doing the math. I was like, what can we get? How much is all my life skilling gear worth? It was like worth like 60 bill. And I was like, that's really close to a Pin Ogre. And then I just like add up some how much my food was worth, and it was about worth 20 bill. I was like, all right, we're gonna pull it. I'm gonna upgrade from a Tet Ogre to a Pin Ogre, and I was gonna keep it the same time frame. So I had like 2 days left, roughly, at like 48 hours to get the Pin Ogre. And so we upgraded it to a Pin Ogre, sold everything, and bro, I lost a couple billion selling things at minimum price, but we got the Pin Ogre, so it worked out. We had like 7 hours left on the countdown before I had to delete my Tech Crescent, and then like I was about to sell something on the marketplace while I was grinding, and I looked up there, and then there was the pre-order complete. I was like, "Oh snap, we got it, boys!" So it was good.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't you sell your combat gear to get the life skill gear?
So I sold
I
about
was just thinking that.
I sold about 40 billion of life skilling gear, and then I made with that 40 billion in life skilling gear, I made roughly 130 billion, and now I've sold it all back. So since I've gotten life skilling gear, I've bought 2 Tet Narcs, a Pin Bassi, and the Pin Ogre now. But I don't have the boss armor, so I mean there is a loss there. But we've made some major gains along the road.
You don't have what are you using, a Coom right now?
I'm using suppressed boss gear. It's great. I went to Star's
ballin',
End earlier
dude.
while I was drunk, and as you would expect, I died twice in 30 minutes. It was great.
You went where drunk?
I went to the Star's End with 302 DP drunk, and it was great.
I can't tell if that's a.
It was a very cool. The clapping happened. it was not pretty.
I can't tell if that's a you need to work on your drunk grinding or you need more DP or maybe a little bit of both. But
I might be able to pull it off when I'm not intoxicated, but I'm not. I don't know. I don't know.
So you have 2 pin accessories now?
I have 5 pin accessories. I have a pin crescent, 2 pin narcs, a pin Bassi, and a pin ogre. So I'm only missing pin crescent.
Okay. So I guess a couple of those technically count.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. By the end of August, I'll have 3 or 4 pin boss armors back. So it doesn't matter to me. It'll be good.
Wow, you're gonna go from no boss armor to full pin in 1 month?
I have my weapons still. So I have a Tet Blackstar, I have a C11 Dandy, and a C7 Kudum. So I just need the armor. That's all I need.
Dandy C11, you're such a bitch.
Wait, what? Wait, what? What?
No, I was just doing math. I'm rolling through, figuring out what my next. I'm about a billion or 2 silver away from my next Tet distortion. I'm trying to figure out if I take my Dandy up from C7 or.
What's your Kudum
like
AP now, Potion?
Say again.
What's your Kudum AP up to with all those pin narcs?
My Kudum AP is 297 AP. That's why I'm up with Kudum.
Yeah, with narcs?
Yeah, with 2 narcs. I'll be 300 with the other pin crescent. My goal is 300 AP, 400 DP, and grind Ash Forest with not Sorceress because it sucks. Probably play the new class when it comes out.
Good luck with that, dude.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up because they just had the Heidel Ball Q&A round 3 that talked about Ash Forest a little bit and stuff too. So
yeah, I didn't actually get time to look through that, so I'm going to lean on you guys a little bit on that one.
I went through all the content this week. I'm very proud of myself.
I skimmed it. Wait, was the Heidel Ball at home actually new questions? I thought it was just
the first one definitely wasn't.
We already asked.
The first one definitely wasn't. The second one was like half or more was the same, and the third one I think is new. Is what was I thought?
Yeah, I just read it through on stream a couple hours ago, and there were some interesting points that we can go over later. So we should definitely make that a mark that we go over.
I thought it was just a rehash. I didn't realize it was actually new.
So that's my week, anyway. It's kind of like the plan I'm going through. I've gone way over my head and my plans. My plans are bigger than the capability of my grinding, so we'll get there. So the first topic here, if you guys want to jump into it, is
no, the rest of us are going through our weeks. What the fuck, dude?
So the rest of so the Naruto ban here is the first topic. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
How was your week, Tim?
I had a decent week. My son got sick on Monday.
Oh no!
Like he started throwing up. So I took Tuesday off. I always take Wednesday, Thursday, but I took Tuesday off, and we went to there's a little like drive-through zoo with like a bunch of exotic animals. If you guys watched Joe Exotic, whatever, the Tiger King thing on Netflix, they open up with he like started or hung out at Lion Country Safari, and that's a pretty close drive, and you just drive around. And there was an ostrich that came and pecked my windshield for like 5 minutes, and he loved it. So I spent some extra time with my son this week, but we got down on the grind a little bit too. We got to level 63. We hit that yesterday. I tried to hit it at grass beetles, but it turns out that it would have taken over 10 hours to go from 99.999% to 100%, because apparently you could be level 62 and 100.000%, and then it would have taken another 3 to 5 hours to go from there to level 63. So I actually burnt two 530 scrolls trying to get to 63 at Grass Beetles.
Yeah. I looked up the experience. I tried that for 62, I believe, or 63, and I looked it up, and they're actually a flat 1% per kill. They're flat, like the absolute 1%. It's absolutely insane.
Do you have a comment about that, Morley? No, they're 10. They're 10 EXP each, actually.
10? Okay.
Yeah, we looked it up. Somebody did the math and demoralized me.
I'm just wondering if your XP even got multiplied by those scrolls, or if it was so low that it was just like,
well, they were 10.
So, yeah, I guess. I don't know. You know how it is with this game.
True. Everybody was saying that. I grinded there for 3 hours.
It's probably getting multiplied up and then rounded back down to the original.
Yeah, exactly.
It was too low.
They probably multiply by 10% a piece and then round down and keep multiplying by 10 every time.
I don't know. It was fun to do something goofy. I'm pretty burnt out from grinding, quite frankly. I did my first T1 Node War last night and streamed it. So the return of PvP back to Tim Allen's channel. Everything was
pretty
great
good too, right? You were top 10, I think.
Yeah, I was 7th in frags. It took me a little while to get acclimated. No PA. You know, the shot calling's basically run in there, and then it's handle our backline. But like, it was different when there's the people who were fighting had like they were flanking really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you still have the base positioning kind of terrain to deal with and stuff. And I've never PvP'd on Guardian in large scale, except for one siege where we just got turbo fucked. And so I was like 42 and 16 or something like that, which was 7th. And I felt pretty good about that. It was like a 4v4 and the Impact opened up and he's like, hey, we don't like this guild, but we worked out a deal. So, you know, we all can just have a nice fun 4v4 and have a fun night. I'm like, what, really?
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how that like actually works on T1s?
Yeah, he even said to me right after, he goes, I know, Tim, it works way different here. I'm like, I didn't even say anything. I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, it's shit. Yeah, it does. Now, so I had a lot of fun. I'm in the T1 Discord, and I'm looking forward to getting better at Guardian and getting better at T1s and staying in the top 10 for frags, but definitely moving up in the top 3 pretty consistently if I can while on offense.
So, like both of you have done T1s now. What's your overall feeling of it compared to Siege and the other stuff in the game? Because Tier 1s are very different, aren't they?
Yeah, they're way better in every way imaginable. The only thing I don't like about Tier 1s is that my progress is capped. Like, I wish that there was something that felt like T1s for endgame, because then I would actually be motivated to grind on this game every day and progress. Because the PvP is just so much better. Like the lack of PA, the fact that the fights that we're doing are 25 or 40 man instead of 100, I think is also makes it a lot more enjoyable. But just like the time to kill feels better. You know, you actually have to pull a full combo off on someone to kill them, and even sometimes you might need a little help. Like you can't just one tap somebody like you can in Siege. You don't get just blasted by a berserker with Q buff and then die before he loads on your screen. Like there's a lot of stuff that's better. It's less laggy. Time to kill is better. The community is way better.
It's less laggy, huh?
It's less laggy. It's less toxic. It's less laggy because there's less people, right? Like compared to Siege.
Yeah, makes sense.
In a Siege, even 2 or 3 guilds piling on top of each other, like the server just dies, right? Yeah. But if you're in Node War, this is true of any tier of Node War. It's just another benefit of T1s, the fact that usually it's not 100 people.
I have similar thoughts. I've only done it for about an hour, so I thought the time to kill was going to be a little lower. Honestly, I was getting blown up pretty easily in the beginning, and that might just be like a Guardian versus Warrior thing. But I was also popping people really hard. So I sent in a ticket to Cacao Games, and I was like, hey, so I deleted on my Witch and my Guardian that earring for the down attack. Can I have them back, please? Promise I'll never do it again. They got back to me within 2 hours and just gave it. I thought I was going to have to do all these quests and shit yesterday.
I don't even know if you still can do the quests. I think the earrings might have gotten removed in the latest patch.
We were debating that. I don't know enough.
Has anyone made a new character? Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to check.
It's supposed to be the new earring thing or whatever, the newbie gear.
Yeah, I think they give you like Naru's now or something. I don't know if they still give you the old one. Yeah, someone in chat saying they're gone.
Oh, okay. So
those are legacy items now.
So like the best earrings in Tier 1s are now no longer available. That's
Yeah,
Monka
which is
S.
a big bummer.
Chat said, somebody in chat, reliable source, says he just got one on his tamer.
Okay.
Okay, well then I guess I'm banning this other guy.
Fake news.
So yeah, 63, and I'm just a couple hundred mil, maybe a bill or two from a decent pre-order. I think I'm 17.5 bill right now for a Tet Distortion, so that'll put me at 287 Kudum. So then I'm going to pound out Tungrad rings for 289 Kudum, and I sold my Nuver. Since I'm going to be doing tier ones for at least a couple weeks, I don't really see a reason to have a Nuver. So
Right.
Back
Even
to
if you're
grinding.
doing Siege, I don't think there's a reason to have a Nuver. I'm proud of you. Good sell.
Yeah, maybe not. I'd like to have 301 or 305 AP, but I don't know if it really matters. You know,
I just
once they
think-
start getting up into 289 and 290s in Kudum AP, I think I'll be okay. You know,
You'll make that up in Kafris levels and shit eventually anyways. It's once you get 290 plus, I think Kudum's just the way to go for everything.
I'm really curious about how the meta's kind of gone back to where it was, right? They added AP brackets, and everybody went from Kudum is trash to Nuver is best in slot, and now that everybody's kind of completely geared up again, right? Now we have that Kudum is king again, right? Just because of the stats on it.
Well, it's because of the curve on the AP brackets. You have this huge jump from like 245 to 269, and then it starts to flatten out. So now that people can get above 270, 280 with a Kudum, it's like the brackets just don't matter as much. You want the extra DP, the extra accuracy, the extra ignore resist. All that's really nice.
So I did some RBF at 280. I'm 282 right now with Kudum, which leaves a little to be desired. But once I hit 289, I think Kudum's going to be the way to go. But I can't siege for at least 2 more weeks. So, and I don't have a burning desire to get back into it anyway. So that's where I'm at with the game. I'm really happy with it, dude. I'm so looking forward to season 2. If I can dive into this for a second, I've committed, and I'm going to start a new account for season 2.
A whole new account.
I'm going to spend a couple $100s on it, and I'm going to upload to YouTube daily, which means 5 or 6 times a week, and stream /YouTube my new player experience, and throw out a bunch of new guides and content for YouTube, and kind of revitalize that part of my my stream content, whatever you want to call it.
I'll be curious to see how that works for you.
Yeah, so I mean, I was the #1 YouTuber on Xbox, right? I like to bring that up pretty often. Back when it started out with all the guides.
Yeah.
And so that's my wheelhouse. I enjoy doing it. I'm going to play Hashashin, so I'm going to be flavor of the month, as Show Nation keeps pointing out to me. And just have some fun with it. So I'm trying to rush my main account to be at a place where I can show up for Node War, have some fun, walk away, and not lose too much by spending, a solid month really not playing my main account.
Right.
So speaking of, I think playing it on a new account is kind of the only way to make it actually fun. So
right,
yeah, I could see why you're looking forward to it more than I am. I feel like I'm in this weird position with season 2 where if I actually want to play the new class, I can't make it a season character because then it's just locked to the season and to Volagir. And if I graduate it early, then I'm opting out of 2 months worth of whatever the daily Black Spirit Pass loot is that I'm paying pearls for. So there's no good option unless I want to make like a throwaway season character and then make my Hashashin non-season. They put us in a really weird position. I don't understand it at all.
Yeah, like I have no desire to make a season character for the Hashashin. I thought about it for a while. I mean, it makes sense if you just want to preview it for like a week, right? And then just be kind of done with it and do the dailies. But if you're actually going to take a serious consideration of it, you're probably not going to take the season character, right?
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to. As a new player, you would. Like on a new account, it makes sense. But as an existing player, you are almost shooting yourself in the foot. I mean, you are shooting yourself in the foot, I think, by making Hashashin a season character if you actually have interest in potentially maining it or playing it seriously in any regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to skip all of that. And I didn't do seasons this season because I wanted the kinks to be worked out, and I was kind of focused on my grind and all that kind of stuff. But I think the only way seasons really make sense is for new players. And since I'm not a new player, I need that new player experience so I can speak intelligently about it, because I don't know, maybe 1 in 5 or 1 in 7 chats in my chat is a new player looking for advice. And so I'm giving them 2016, 2017. I guess Xbox. I'm giving them a year and a half old, information. And this game is wildly different, especially with seasons for new player experience. So I'm actually really looking forward to it. It cost me a couple $100, but I'm sure I'll get the ROI on it and just have some fun.
You brushed over a couple topics there. I want to kind of hone in on a few of them. One of them is the season itself, right? They added a new feature where you can graduate early.
Hasn't told us about his week yet.
That's
true.
They added
Jesus, man.
The season character is they added you threw me all off, Tim. They added the ability to basically graduate early, right? Yeah, they graduated early, and so that I think that's gonna be a big part of the season, right? Because then you can actually put on your regular gear, which I think is good for a very new player to the game, right? Like a brand new player to the game who's done with season gear, doesn't care about whatever the season pass reward is. They can at least have the option of graduating early. And apparently NA and EU is getting that next week. What do you guys think about that, along with them announcing the Hashashin coming out?
They were so close with early graduation. They were really so close. I think early graduation is a great option, except for the fact that it deletes your ability to continue collecting your daily rewards from the season that you paid pearls to get. So, wow. Okay. Thanks for putting me in a position where I have to make that decision. Why? It's one of those things, man. It's like, I just wish they would think things through. I wish that some of these devs would actually play their own game.
It is true. I mean, if you played it just a little bit, you would think about that and be like, oh, wait, that's a conflict there. Now, what about free players, people who are not paying the season pass bonuses, right? With it,
they're
still
missing out on half those bonuses. I mean, they don't get the box, right? But they're still deleting all those loot scrolls if they graduate early. I don't know why you would graduate early unless you were fully capped out on your Tuvala, or if you were an existing player who had non-season gear that was better than your Tuvala gear. Those are the only reasons I could see why you would graduate early. And even then, it's like you're opting out of all these extra rewards for the season. You're opting out of, at this point, a month worth of those rewards. I don't get it. I don't get why they would force you to do that. All they have to do is just allow you to continue getting those dailies that are part of the season.
So it can't
be that hard.
Is the strategy going to be for Hashashin to make it your regular character and then make a second Hashashin for the season then? And then you can transfer them kind of back and forth?
I don't know. I mean, I think it depends on how the Hashashin farms. I would think you would want to just make like a Musa or something, just something that kills Nagas, and use that for the season. Smash everything out in a few days and then just be done with it. And then play the Hashashin as a non-season character and just use your season Musa to turn in stones once a day.
Can my non-season characters use Tuvala gear? Like the season gear?
No.
No? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's just strange all the way around. I can't really think about what I would really do, really. It's like you just got to play more. That's the only answer. you got to play more.
Well, and did Korea get another slot for season 2? How did that work? Did we know?
I didn't follow it. The Hashashin came out with season 2
every 3 months now, like to make room for this shit. That's the other thing that I'm trying to figure out.
So Hashashin came out with season 2, so they got one with Hashashin automatically. But so we'll get the standard one that you have to probably buy, right? And otherwise, you'll still have the free one that they gave you last time season 1 came out. So maybe every time they expect you to delete your season character and then just start over again, maybe that's their expectation.
There's no way we don't get more slots. They're $6 each.
They've got to figure that out. Yeah, they've just got to figure that out. It's the whole thing. Like I said, it just feels partially implemented. It doesn't feel like it's thought out. We're gonna run into a wall if it keeps going like this. I can't keep deleting characters, but at the same time, like I don't know, are we really gonna get 4 new character slots a year from now on? Like, I just feel like they haven't really thought it through.
Yeah, how many classes are we gonna fucking have in this?
They're gonna be releasing a class every 4 months, huh? That's the plan.
Well, when we get to the Heidel Ball, there's a couple of so I think the devs, when we get to it, just to kind of as a teaser, I think the devs finally got tired of being asked the same questions different ways. And some of the questions they were like, they stood their ground, but others that are just like, look, you could really glean some decent information from. So I'm excited to go through that.
Yeah. Now also with the season, they said they're ending season 1 early for NA and EU. I would assume the other regions as well, and they're doing that because they want to release Hashishin early. How early are they ending it? Is it a week or 2?
Just a week early. Yeah, it's.
Okay, that's not bad at all.
I'm fine with that. That's no big
They're
deal.
not-
I don't think.
They're not ending it early. They started late and they're ending it on time.
No, they're still ending it a week early because it was originally going to end on September 2nd, and now they're starting the new season on September 2nd. So they're cutting off the end a week early for everybody. So we started a week late and we're ending a week early, but I still think the season was long enough. I mean,
So I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So they're ending season 1 early. Hashishin comes out with season 2, and early graduation gets implemented next week. Is that everything? Is there something else with the seasons that I'm not catching? I think that's everything, right?
weapon exchange coupons next season. That's the rumor.
Ooh, Pog. That'd be great. Oh, or maybe not. I have to do dailies.
Yeah, you got to do dailies and you got to do 10
Yay,
hours of main quest.
dailies. Oh, the main quest line.
You decided to do the main quest. Delete a character, do the main quest over and over again every 3 months.
I
don't know, guys.
To.
I think I'm going to swap to Overwatch full time. You guys want to come with me?
I don't think anybody will watch me play Overwatch, Tim, I'll be honest.
What'd you say, Moreland?
Destiny 2 is looking more and more appealing every day.
Dude, so I said it last podcast. I got my account unbanned and I was very PMA and nice to people. But the amount of fun I had just interacting with people, especially like people that only play like Hanzo Genji instant lock and all that stuff, and just calling them the absolute scumbags of Overwatch and people's interactions. I've made so many friends. I've never had so many friend requests in my life. I had so much
From
fun.
calling people scumbags?
Yeah, well, just in general, like there were some cute girls that we grouped with that pocket mercied me, and there was a bunch of 12-year-olds that had more manners than I'll ever have. Yeah, there's cute girls. They follow me on, and I'm doing this. I'm acting pretty much the same way that I acted in Last Oasis, right? Where it's like your shit subject to Malin.
How did you get cute girls to talk to you?
I talk to them.
This is about
first.
making much sense as the season stuff is right now. All right, Tim. You said cute girls and Aaron. I don't know. It's not very. I don't believe it. I have to see proof.
Have you ever seen the Just Chatting?
I've never gone outside, so I wouldn't know what
Girls
Just
don't play
Chatting is.
Overwatch.
Just Chatting is on your computer on Twitch. It's not outside.
What? Wait a second. So you telling me I can find girls on the internet right now, all right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I don't believe any of this.
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds too big to be true.
Can I make a Tinder profile for you, Potion?
That would be content.
I'm afraid of the amount of DMs I would get, so we have to keep.
We could do it together. Like a picture of the two of us at TwitchCon 2018.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Then I'd be like, no, that's the other guy. That's him. That's him. That's not me.
And our caption could be, if you're looking for 8 inches, we both have 4.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh. This again? Oh my gosh. I thought this was over. Oh, I just opened up this can of worms myself and I didn't realize. I'm sorry, guys. This is my fault.
Moreland's already going to
So about them major updates. This is more of a... I think a funny one. I put it as a funny one. So they put in the patch notes a major update, and the major update was the quest menu. The major update was the quest menu. So I thought that was kind of like silly that they made the quest menu talking to NPCs a major update. Guys, it's like they're stretching right now. I'm trying so hard, Tim. I'm trying so hard.
Ocean, you got to stop coming to these podcasts drunk.
It's really affecting the rest of us as he takes another sip of warm vodka.
That's just water and a little bit of juice.
It's called a screwdriver. So Potion was talking about the UI changes or something while I was laughing over them.
Yeah,
They UI changes.
Yeah, they did
Yeah,
the
the quest,
major
yeah.
quest update.
Oh
Now
yeah,
on
the
menu.
major content update.
Oh, it's really pog. I'm really impressed by this one, right?
Yeah, this one was for. I've talked about this on Wednesday. This was for sure something that deserved one line in the patch notes. And the fact that they tried to label it as a major content updates, like it feels like someone at Pearl Abyss is just trying really hard to convince their boss that they're actually working, because they're probably like they're probably working remotely because of COVID, so they're at home just watching Netflix all day, and then it's like 4:59 on Friday, and they're like, "Oh shit, I forgot I didn't do any work this week," and so this is what they came up with. I mean, it's like it's a good change. The UI is a little bit nicer than it was before, but to call it a major content update is so like okay, good job. Yeah, we're working real hard over here.
I entirely don't get it.
Somebody in chat says major content updates. You can now find girls online. I'm sorry, I'm having a tough time with this one.
Do you guys?
I like it though. I think it's
I like it.
It was super hard to dig through that fucking terrible quest thing before.
Yeah.
The UI was haphazard at best. So it's a welcome change. You know,
Yeah,
I'm glad
it's
the
a
guy
quality
went
of
to work
life
that week.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of them going back and doing some quality of life changes like this, because that makes the whole end user experience better. And it might not be for me anymore because I've already done that stuff, right? But a new player coming in and checking out that kind of stuff for the main quest line, like we made jokes because they called it a major quest line, but I do think that kind of quality updates to the game, are really, really good, and they need a lot more of those type of things in the game. So,
well,
I think the main quest line is still going to be pretty confusing, even with the UI improvements, but
yeah,
it's a start.
Speaking of quality of life, I enjoyed the new enhancement system with saving the stacks, like in your little wheel.
Actually, God tier change.
Freaking great! I even bought extra slots. I had some. Fuck you,
they
money.
got you on the extra slots.
Yeah, I just bought one. But it's so good. I felt good about spending $10 on that. I'm not buying all the slots.
Now, how's it work?
I think that it's a good thing. It's the kind of thing they should be charging money for, but I think $11 for a single slot is a little insane. And the fact that 4 slots is the max is also insane. It should have been $11 for 5 slots, and the cap should have been like 30, right? Like the fact that they cap you out at 4 slots is, I mean, if anyone ever does any heavy enhancing, that's nothing. You're still going to end up stuck swapping characters just like you were before after a few minutes.
But still, if you're enhancing like one item, like you're focused on one item, which I would venture a guess that most people do, just like I'm going to enhance my maneuver, having 2 or 3 extra slots, it works like a holster. So it goes through all of your characters for people who don't know. So if you're on your Meiwa and it has a 30 stack, just naturally, you can swap that stack for something that's in your holster and then bring out that 72 stack or that 12 stack, and it swaps it back into your holster that you can swap to a different character. And now that stack travels with the other characters.
That's pretty handy.
But you can get 1 slot with 10k loyalty, and if you haven't been buying your weekly Valk Scries, you probably have the loyalty to get at least 1.
Now they call it a band. Is it actually like a band? Like, I kind of see it somewhere where how does this work? Like, is it just
so open up your enhancement window?
Yeah.
Okay. Just do that. And then right next to use Cronstones, there's the little swap thing. Oh, you might have to do a quest first. You do have to do a quest. So it may not be there until you do the quest.
You have to go to Tariff and talk to the painting or something.
Which coincides directly with the event that's going on. So you can do both of them at once.
Okay.
Well worth the time to do that event, by the way.
So I get one of these for free, and then the other ones I have to buy or something?
You get 1 for free, 1 through loyalty, and the others you have to buy.
Okay. Well, I like the idea of it. Hopefully they make this a big circle, like a band, and then you get way more.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It looks like the start of a big circle, but for some reason they locked it at 4 slots. So I don't know if they intended to make it bigger. It definitely should be like a giant wheel with like 20 or 30 slots. So I don't know if they're slowly going to try to trickle those in later. It's an awesome feature. I really like the design.
It's a huge quality of life.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a huge quality of life if it was implemented with 20 or 30 slots. With 4 slots, it's solid. Like, it's a really good update, but it's another one of those things where it's like $11 for a single slot, and then they cap you at 4. Like, if you're gonna charge $11 per slot, at least make the cap higher so you can get more money out of it. I mean,
I'm with you on that. I get that, but regardless of the epitaph is always going to be, we were so close. So if we're as being as we can always find how they were so close to being like out of the knocking it out of the park. But I got to tell you what, I'm super happy with this. I never really minded swapping between characters, but I don't enhance like you or Biohack or anybody else that really takes it super seriously does. So as just like a casual enhancer, I love this, and I'll spend $10 for 1 extra slot, and having those 3 little slots works fine. I'm still swapping characters. I'm still good with that. I don't need to have 1 enhancement character, but I'm an old bitch in this game. Somebody coming in new would probably appreciate 10 to 15 slots at $1 each or something.
Yeah, I mean, even like $5 would be reasonable per slot, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then the player gets to choose like inventory spaces, how many they want.
I definitely like them selling this rather than selling loot boxes and cronstones.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we definitely should give them credit. I don't know what it is about new content in this game where they always have to put these weird arbitrary limits on it. The fact that there's also a cooldown too when you use stacks over 100. I was talking about this for 20 minutes on Wednesday. I can't imagine a reason for that. Can anyone like even conjecture as to why they would put a cooldown on stacks over 100? It's 10 minutes.
When you swap it in, swap it out.
Yeah, if you put 100 stack away, you can't pull it out for another 10 minutes, and vice versa, I think.
What?
I don't understand why. I mean, it's not like there's a cooldown on swapping characters, so I'm very confused as to what behavior that limits or prevents. I can't think of any sort of case where that does anything other than just create tediousness unnecessarily for the player.
The one thing I kind of think is like they want you to really be careful about clicking. They don't want you to put it in there and blow it up.
10 minutes.
How would a cooldown prevent you from putting the stack in there? And what does that mean? Like,
if you're just
you're saying you would store the stack and then you were moving the stack to a different character so you could rage enhance? Like, what is that? No,
They're treating it. It's not a gun. You don't need a 3-day cooldown period. It's a fucking 100 stack. I don't get it.
There's a cooldown. There's a cooldown on moving the stack to another character. It's not a cooldown on using the stack. It's not like when you click for pin, there's a 10-minute cooldown before you can click for pin again.
I don't know then.
It's only a 10-minute cooldown on the convenience aspect of it. It makes no sense.
Could you imagine listening to Mr. Pay to Win if there was a 10-minute cooldown on clicking for pin?
Holy shit. I mean, he kind of has a cooldown. Dude, that guy spends like 6 hours at a time extracting cronstones from costumes. He literally has a cooldown just from the amount of time it takes to go to the blacksmith and get more crons to click more pins.
I'm fairly certain that he is majorly responsible for the skip animation and multiple, how you can just like take everything out at once.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't add a, 100k pearls
maybe
a 10k one just to save that dude some clicks.
Maybe that's why they did, because isn't there a thing in the Pearl Shop where you can extract bigger fail stacks? So maybe that's why they did that, so that people would have enough time to. 10 minutes is a long time, so you have to buy the Pearl Shop item to extract a big fail stack.
No, the Pearl Shop item was only up to 100. You can't extract
so stacks
over 100 with the Pearl Shop item.
I have no idea.
I like the dichotomy of us talking about, 1 minute we'll be like, pay to win sucks, so we hate all this pay to win. Why is there pay to win in this game? And then we go, why is it so difficult? Why can't we just spend more money? That's like BDO in a nutshell. Everybody does it. Oh, this game's pay to win. Why can't I spend $500 at a time instead of 100?
Yeah, I think the mentality though is different, right? It's like this is more of like a convenience thing. You don't need it, and I think. Like Path Exile has kind of made me happy about like convenience type things, right? Anything that is convenience, I'm kind of okay with, and it's not really in the same category as the paid win. At least for me. I mean, some people see inventory spaces as light paid win, right? So, but anyway, as for me, I'm
totally fine with them selling things like inventory space.
Yeah, same.
Quality of life features that they sell in the cash shop. I would love for them to have monetized the game in that way. from the start rather than slowly trickling in all the pay to win stuff that they have. But I mean, that ship has sailed at this point. Anyone who's still playing BDO has accepted that that's just the way it is.
True. Well, I hope they add more of this convenience. I mean, if you look at the questing menu and you look at Narda's ban, like that's 2 quality of life things added in 1 patch. So if this is a sign of things to come, like I'm pretty happy about it, right? Like I'd love to see more stuff like this in the future.
I'm sorry, guys. I need 1 minute. I can hear you though, so please continue.
All right. So one of the things they added was the Crow's Sacred Chest. It has pretty good loot in it. How do you acquire it?
I don't know. I'm not bothering with the Crow's Nest until they add the Velia teleporter. I mean, I assume it's something that you get from going out there and doing your Crow's Nest daily, but I can't be fucked to drive my boat out there for a daily. If it was a weekly, I would be down, but I'm not going to drive my boat to Crow's Nest once a day. Like, how much free time do they think we have? There's way too much other daily stuff to do in the game already.
Yeah.
There's no way that's going to happen. Maybe once they add the Velia teleporter, if the rewards are good, I might start doing it. But even then, like, I just wish they would make it a weekly thing instead.
Yeah, I haven't tried it because I just don't want to drive my boat out there. I was thinking about it, and I was like, but then there's grinding, and I can just grind for an hour or two, instead, and I'd rather be doing that.
I don't know what the conversion is. I assume, I don't know if you get 1 box a day. Probably not. You probably have to do multiple days, and then you get coins, and they add up, and eventually one of those turns into a box. Maybe you get more coins for doing the higher tiers. I don't know the details. That's my guess. But until they add that teleporter in Velia, I don't have time, man. Like, there's too many other things that I got to get done.
Especially when it comes to dailies type thing. There's the dailies in BD are getting longer and longer. The list of dailies is becoming atrocious at this point. So anyone that I can knock out, like skip, is fine by me.
Wait, so you guys don't like life skill on a different character? I have a different character for life skilling and a different character for sailing.
I have characters that have life skilling on them. I prefer to keep it on my main just so that when people come by and chat, they're like, hey, look, this is what I got.
You can't really park a different character at Crow's Nest, though, can you? I mean, you still need your gear for that.
Well, you can get the Oasis gear
for what?
For
isn't the daily trading? Isn't it bartering? Isn't it bartering?
No, it's a boss arena. You haven't been out there yet?
Oh, it's for that? I thought it was trading.
Yeah, it's actually like a whole boss arena for PvE. No, you go out there and fight a big boss.
It's weirdly integrated in with the bartering content because it's out on the bartering island, but it has nothing to do with bartering other than the fact that you need a boat to get out there.
Even the daily quest said something about trading. I was like, oh, it's like a daily bartering thing with a RNG box. Okay, yeah, no, I'm gonna go with you on the. I can't be fucked to drive my boat out there. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. So that was an astute comment.
We'll just wait till they add the teleporter and then revisit, I guess.
Yeah, I guess
next week.
I feel like we're probably gonna have a teleporter and we're going to go out there and be like, yeah, it's not worth it anyway. That's the feeling I've been getting.
I got mobile games to play, dude.
I mean, the whole reason in doing it is either for the box or the pass, right? The weapon exchange coupon, right? So I think that's
it could be sick. Like if there was actually a 5 tiers of bosses that you had to work your way through, and the bosses were well designed and they required you to like read the boss's telegraph and dodge at the right time, and it was actually difficult and challenging, and the reward at the end was really good. That would be mind-blowing content for this game, right? Like it's the exact kind of thing they have the foundation for with the best action combat in the entire genre. They could do that. I don't think that's how it's going to play out, unfortunately, but it's there. Like they could improve it. They could turn it into something amazing. And in its current state, I wasn't that impressed when I went out there and played around with it. And I'm certainly not going to drive my fucking boat out there to test it out again until I can teleport.
Well, we'll have to revisit it another day then. Now they did add a new spot to Hex Sanctuary. It's basically you have to attack a tombstone, and then you have like an infinite spawning monster wave until they kill the tombstone. So it's sort of like wave defense, but there's like one never-ending wave. Is sort of how it goes.
Is it actually infinite? It doesn't like expire like the Miramax?
It only expires when they actually kill a tombstone. And so the limitation on it is literally how if you can kill them fast, then they can damage it. I've heard someone going up to 17 minutes doing one tombstone. So
so it's almost like Altar of Blood, where the mobs are ignoring you and attacking a structure instead.
Yeah, Yeah, and so I mean, you can
Okay.
aggro, like, I think if you attack there's like a one boss that spawns, and he's the guy who you can't kill fast enough because he's like a big mega health elite. So he's the one who ends up doing damage to the tower. But you can aggro him and kind of kite him around, so he doesn't damage the tombstone as much. It's interesting. From what I hear, it's it's good skill points, okay EXP, but there's better skill point places and then better EXP places. So, and the money is blah.
That's cool though. I like the concept.
I was saying that I hope they iterate on it a little bit. Like take some player feedback and say, hey, like buff this, nerf that, or change it around a little bit, because I'd like to see like maybe running around and doing like 2 or 3 of them. Like you have to, okay, this one's spawning and then that one's spawning and then that one's spawning, and running around to different things. Yeah, I like that. I like the core idea.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I'm good with that.
I hope they buff it, because right now I don't hear it. Apparently it's a little weak. It's sort of like the guy
it's
from
like a
Terra now.
160 AP spot. I don't think it's ever going to be that insane.
Yeah, you got to bring content out for all different, shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to start this new account, man. I'm so excited to start this new account. It's going to be so much fun.
I do like the fact that they're experimenting with other types of grinding rather than just, running a circle, pulling 10 mobs at once.
Oh, yes.
I hope that they continue to work on that. I mean, something like the wave defense that they have at Hex Sanctuary, they could iterate on that by making the waves like grow stronger over time, so that it could become almost like a greater rift thing where you get deeper and deeper levels of it and the loot goes up. There's a lot of cool things that they could do there. So again,
bro, imagine it spawned Hex Marie Dark Rift boss or something like that if you got far enough in it. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, like maybe every 5 or 10 waves a boss spawns and the boss has increased loot, like that. Something like that could be really cool.
Yeah.
What's your total number of monsters killed, both of you?
Mine's been reset like 3 times, so I don't know what it is. Right now it's 3 million.
No, it's account wide. It doesn't reset.
It's been reset because they reset the servers on it. So it came out and reset twice since I've had it, which made me really mad.
What is it now?
Right now it is a little over 3 million.
Wow. How about you, Moran?
Yeah, it's been reset several times.
Huh. Mine's not 3 million.
I'm 1.2 million. And my last 30 days have been 200,000. That's crazy.
Let's see.
Sorry.
You got more monsters killed than me in the last 30 days. Mine's 154. Yeah.
I'm probably, if you go to the community tab on Cacao Games BDO, where the partner tab is, the Hall of Fame, my face is probably still the blank square of me being removed from the partner.
When they removed you, they broke it. I think their code broke.
So that's been I'm not gonna lie, that's been a little bit of a motivator just to like keep my empty square there. Yep, just like So I've been grinding pretty hard. I'm a little burnt out though. I'm excited to. I'm cutting some meat right now, catching up on some life skills and taking it all in and enjoying actually hitting some landmark stuff. So I'm happy playing some Overwatch. I'm gonna play Overwatch after the podcast. It's gonna be lit.
Taking breaks are necessary in BDO. There's no way around burnout otherwise.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely includes Beatles from yesterday. All 2,000 of them.
I still can't believe you did that.
I can't either. The 530 scrolls. The chat was trying to get me to pop a third one. I'm like, I think I'm just gonna not do this anymore. All right, what's next, Potion?
They have the Cursed Hero event, where basically Cacao or Pearl Abyss is working with a Netflix show. Have you guys done any of that event?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I sure did.
wait, that didn't sound so good. What happened?
Nothing really.
You need a fast tour. So I tried to read some of the NPC text, and I got super fucking bored just straight away. I was like 2 quests into it, and I'm like, I just want the stack. So I'm trying to figure out how something like this comes through. And I was hoping that it was going to be like super crossplay, where like Cursed has like a big BDO reference into it. They're like, Lord Zarka's here or something like that. But apparently that's not the case.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're gonna.
Because I'm pretty sure I would explode if I saw something on Netflix reference BDO. Oh my god! But you better have a fast horse, man. You run from Kelfion, and then they put you on a secret mission. Right? They go, we know that these masked people are here, but we're not friendly with Medaya, so we need to. Here's some money. Don't tell anybody that we're sending you. And then you go to Tariff, and then you do your enhancement quest while you're there. And then you get like a 60 stack. or Sunday buffs. So I mean, it's fine. I can't figure out who this is for. Who's a big enough BDO simp to where they're gonna go, oh, this new Netflix show is teaming up with Kakao Games. I'm gonna go watch that.
I had a lot of people from my chat actually watch it.
Yeah, I watched Curse just because it was in BDO, and I was like, okay, well, I gotta watch an episode to see if the show's any good now.
Is it good? Is it good, Marlon?
I heard it's like blah. It's like okay. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just
another Netflix show.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
so I guess it makes sense, right?
I don't think I'm the target audience. I think it's more for like tweens.
All right, I'll have to check it out.
It's working. I mean, we've had so many people watch it now. I mean, their advertising is working. I guess they get their money's worth. Apparently, they're also giving away free loot in game, 20 cron stones for codes and social media related to the TV or the Netflix show. And
20 old cron stones.
Yeah, and apparently you also get like a 1 month of Netflix free or something. They have some deal like that where you can sign up for Netflix and get first month free.
Okay, so what's a Netflix subscription? How many cron stones is that equivalent to? It's like what, $8, $12?
Wait, hold on. The first month of Netflix is always free.
Shh. They said it's part of the deal. All right.
I actually don't know what I pay for Netflix. I haven't looked in years.
It depends on the resolution and stuff. They have like 3 different versions. It's like
I can have 4 people at once watching it for $14 a month, and it includes UHD.
I don't think I'm paying the 4-person version.
I recently got a extra slot on my Netflix account. If you guys need a hookup,
$15 though. That's like 150 crons, right?
Yeah, the conversion's really bad. It's not worth you typing in the code. Actually, it's so bad. You better just keep on grinding.
You're better off clipping your nails. Oh man.
So I think it's interesting anyway. Last year they did one of these with Berserk, I believe, which was pretty cool because they had like the Berserk boss in the game, and a lot of people are fans of Berserk who play video games, right? So it was kind of
I
cool.
think that one was pretty sweet.
Yeah, because it was a good blend. Because a lot of the fans of Berserk also play video games, right? So it's a good blend. It's a good audience pick.
I have somebody in my chat who watched this show before it was promoted on Black Desert Online. So,
oh yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. They're super far ahead of the curve.
that's 6 head right there.
The next topic is the hideout ball, or we can talk about NA servers having problems, whichever one.
Let's do NA servers first.
All right. So I've had this for about 2 weeks, where changing characters, my game will occasionally crash, and we've had this bug come a couple of times. But this week it upgraded. The bug has not been dealt with, and now it's evolved into a bigger problem. So now you get stuck on the loading screen. It's either like the character swap screen where it says like white background, like blue edges, or it's like a completely black screen and you just can't load in. It's been happening nonstop since the patch. Have you guys had this problem going on?
No, actually I don't, because I use NoPing. NoPing is a tunnel VPN service that will get around these types of lag issues. Use code TIM for 20% off NoPing.
You can use code MorlandTV for 30% off.
You're such a bitch. This is why nobody likes you.
You can use code Potion.
I'm just pro-consumer.
You can use code Potion for 0% off.
I'm pretty sure that. Okay. I'm pretty sure that mine actually does 30. They just didn't tell me.
Well, people still want to use mine anyways, right? Right, chat?
I use your G Fuel code all the time.
Thanks, buddy.
Use code NoVPN for 100% off. There you go.
Yeah, so I logged in without NoPing for the first time in a long time today, and I saw a bunch of really pretty colors, and I'm like, oh, I must have forgotten to put NoPing on. Okay, I'm done. I'm really done. But yeah, it sucks. The server's been having problems. It finally hit me. Apparently, it's like pretty widespread on the East Coast of the United States. So
yeah, I wonder if it's something to do with their like DDoS protection, because their DDoS is spread into East Coast and West Coast. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with that. It's just like not letting people through in time.
I don't know. I feel like they're just not doing a good job optimizing. I felt the game running poorly lately too. Like just I'm getting less FPS and I'm more stuttering. the past few weeks. Like it just seems to kind of get a little bit worse each week after the next.
One thing I noticed was mobs don't render in as closely anymore. Have you guys noticed that? Like they render in like when you're on top of them instead of like far away now.
It's kind of always been like that, especially like Starzen for me. I have 2 internet connections, so I actually, before I went live today, I hunkered down. I got a hurricane. It's barreling down. It's going to be here in like 12 hours. So I hunkered down my house, and then I logged on to BDO, and it was fucked. So I actually have 2 internet connections. So I went from AT&T to Comcast, and both of them were equally fucked. So it's not like an ISP thing necessarily. It seems to be a locale thing. Like there's a gateway or something that's being DDoSed.
Yeah, like the whole thing.
Use my VPN. It's fixed, right? So.
Yeah, so for anybody who hasn't experienced this yet and you do have the problem, I sat on the login screen for like 10 minutes. I don't know. It was a long time. And it eventually just let me in. And once you're in, it seems like you're good. It seems like I have not had any problems once I'm in. But if I change characters or I go swap servers, then I get stuck and or the game crashes. And so that's how I've been kind of getting around. As I just never change characters. I just run around everywhere manually and no teleports or no nothing, and that's kind of how I've been getting around it.
Sounds like it's probably multiple problems that are compounding each other.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, I hope they address that. Everybody has stability problems and lag and stuff in decent and BDO, but this seems to be a little extra than normal. So hopefully they get onto that.
I really feel like we both in terms of performance and lag, we had like a good thing going in BDO for the last year or so, but ever since like maybe March of this year, it's just been slowly declining, and I don't know what's going on. I mean, once we got off of LeaseWeb and got the new servers, and they did a couple stability patches, like I wasn't getting memory leaks anymore, and I was noticing way less lag in sieges. Like Siege became a lot more enjoyable. But for whatever reason, this year it's like all going backwards again. If I leave the game in tray, my whole computer just starts to just slog and get slow, and my other applications that I have running will crash. I have an audio bug now that I get while playing other games that only happens if I have like BDO running in tray for more than a few hours. It's very weird. Like none of that stuff was a problem a few months ago. So I don't know what they're doing in the back end, but it's weird, the roller coaster of performance that we've had in this game, where it was like so many amazing improvements and the game was running fantastic, and then it's like, okay, now we're going to just go backwards.
I think it's probably
part of my rant from.
Go ahead,
please. So that was part of my rant from last week. God damn it! That was part of my rant from last week. Is that the servers were deteriorating, right? And that once they swapped, they were great. You could have 8 guilds on Caltheon, and it wasn't a slideshow. And then, when Aftershock was in Valencia, it was fucking horrible. And then a couple weeks before that, there would be this weird FPS lag and all this kind of stuff. But when's the last time you reformatted your computer, Moreland?
I'm just gonna buy a new one in a couple months, anyways, so I can't be bothered.
Are you gonna put a nice Raid Shadow Legends icon on the side?
Yeah, definitely, Tim.
The one thing it might be related to is COVID-19, right? There's so many more people working from home, working at stuff like that. Like it really could be just that there's so many more people using internet now that it's just slowing everything down. I know that
maybe. I mean, if you look at the Steam charts, it's up to like 16K, which we've been at 16K on Steam before.
Well, I'm not talking about just BDO. I'm talking about the internet as a whole. Yeah. And so then because they had I actually had an internet problem, and I called them up, and they're like, they put me through their head honcho dude, because I was
the head of the internet. You called the internet, and
head of internet. No, but the
internet,
the boss dude anyway, and he said like, we can't do anything because they're working on one of the backbones in America where it's T3
surgery,
and they're seeing it across the back. Oh, they say. I mean, it's like basically that's what there's lines that run across from like Atlanta across to the West Coast and back and forth, so that. And those are managed by companies. And T3 happens to be one of those companies that also happens to be the internet provider for BDO, right? So I'm saying like if everybody's using T3, right, and they might be using it for just their web office, then if everybody's home now, that's going to put a lot more lag and stress on their server, right, on that backbone.
So you got
that
to.
doesn't explain why my game has like egregious memory leaks that didn't.
No.
exist
Yeah. I'm not talking. That's not an excuse for BDO
just need to
performance issues.
reformat.
But I'm just saying like, potentially for like lag related things maybe. But yeah, memory
So
leaks and stuff like that. No.
We asked you about your week, and you didn't bring up that you talked to Al Gore.
Wait. So let's see here. Al Gore. He's the guy everybody gives credit to for making the internet.
Now that's
you got it.
That's a boomer joke right there.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Next topic.
Yeah, this one is title ball. So let's run through it a little bit. I need to actually
let's see.
pull it up because I haven't looked at it.
I'm gonna ruin my VOD. Here we go. So I can run us through this. What's it? Black Desert Online? I keep typing Cacao Games. Cursed. Oh wow, I should watch that. Announcements. Title ball at home. Okay, so if I can walk us through this a little bit, I'm really interested in a couple things here.
Sure.
So right off the bat, I'll just read the questions verbatim. Right now, Conquest War in NA region is very caster reliant, and most of the competitive guilds will not take in players unless they are a Witch or Wizard. Do you have any plans on making other classes besides Witch Wiz more competitive and large scale?
Oh, God,
Follow-up question. Follow-up question. Oh, dude, you're about to lose your shit.
I'm already malding, dude. I read the first line of the answer, and I'm gonna. Dude, I'm gonna become so bald that the skin and bones on the top of my head are gonna start to melt, and I'm gonna have just like a flat top above my eyes that I can use as a shelf.
What the fuck?
I would have gone with that. You're gonna lose your eyebrows, but we can go with the shelf head too. That's your next emote, by the way, shelf head. Follow-up question. Are there any plans to improve the situation of Node War being dominated by casters, possibly make battles more similar to what you read medieval fantasy novels? I was thinking Unawakened, or Pre-Awakened, but that's fine. So the answer, I want to read this whole thing because it gets worse as you go through. When we looked at the data the past couple of months, we found that the kill to death ratio was high on the high side.
I'm trying not to scream.
Of the high side for Ranger, Wizard, Sork, Tamer, and Witch. Tamer. We examined several possible reasons and determined that the Black Spirit Rage skills have too much of an impact on Conquest War. So we've been adjusting some of these skills accordingly. Additionally, the up to 5,000 HP buff in Conquest War that some guilds opt out of by being in a different guild ended up increasing the importance of already important Witch Wizard, obviously, which is something we're also looking to improve through changes to the Conquest War specifications. We believe that making changes to the actual Conquest War itself is more important than the significance of each class holds. We previously announced the central changes in part 2 of the Q&A. We'll do our best to implement these changes to the game as quickly as possible. We are also looking into a variety of other means of making sure you can enjoy Conquest War's core experience, such as making more unique skills that could be used by guild masters or officers. By the way, you can't hotbar those. You have to pull up your guild menu. Or new tactical elements with the goal of providing relatively weaker guilds a feeling that this is worth a try or worth a challenge, instead of approaching this problem with a focus on melee ranger caster classes. We will strive to make it possible for each guild member to enjoy their role in their role with their class. In the meantime, we'll be placing more importance on improving Node and Conquest War. Let me translate. We're never getting rid of PA. Stop bringing it up. We're going to do everything except for solve the fucking problem. And we're looking at data and we don't play our game. Also, providing relatively weaker guilds for the feeling that this is worth a try or worth a challenge. That answer I've been screaming about for about 2 years. That's called Cap Mercs and Siege, but that's fine. So that's how they start this thing. Thoughts?
Well, I don't know what to even begin with.
The audacity of them trying to blame the overpoweredness of Witch and Wizard on the recent HP change. Holy fuck. Has not a single developer at Pearl Abyss ever participated in a siege since 2016? It's never not been like this. What game are they talking about here, dude? Like, it's so they even in the first line, kill death ratio. Okay, so obviously someone who has never PvP'd in this game in their entire life is looking at numbers in a spreadsheet and then making armchair design decisions based on the KDA that they see on Tamer's Black Spirit Rage. They've clearly never ever played the game once ever. It's so bad, dude. What is this answer?
It's like looking at Shy and being like, "Oh, Shy has a terrible KDA. Oh my gosh, we need to buff Shy." Or like, "Keep buffing Shy because it's still not up there. Keep buffing Shy because it's not up there." It's like that obviously, like, this doesn't have a understanding of what at its core what's going on.
Level of arrogance here too. The fact that they think that's like so. Look at the way that the people who actually play the game at the highest competitive level are behaving. They are massively recruiting witches and wizards, and they're putting restrictions on most other classes, like with a couple of exceptions. You know, they probably want berserkers and guardians too. But there's clearly a class imbalance, and witch and wizard is the most egregious because of things like PA and because of the way that healing scales in this game. And these devs who don't actually play the game are so arrogant that they think that they can look at like a kill death ratio and from that extrapolate that they actually know better than the most competitive guilds in the entire game. And that, like, what, these guilds are doing it wrong by recruiting nothing but witch and wizard? Like, is that what they're insinuating here? I don't fucking understand it, dude.
Yeah, you guys think witch and wizard is bad? Have you seen Sork and Tamer and Ranger? Like, we have the data. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, and you have to look at, like, they obviously if they played the game, they would understand that Ranger is a long range class, so they're not going to die as often, right? They have that supportive long range damage roll, especially now with the Ascending Current being buffed out the wazoo. And in Tamer, the 100%. I mean, I can see that, but they're completely useless in every other regard, right? So, like, that doesn't mean that all Black Spirit Rage abilities are overpowered. Right, like,
I mean, just the fact that KDA even enters the equation when talking about why witches and wizards, like, you could have, if witches and wizards didn't ever get kills, right? If every witch and wizard in the game was 0 and 20 every war, it doesn't change the fact that PA is still winning all your engagements. Like, those two things aren't related.
All right, well, they lost a huge amount of credibility on this one. Whoever this guy is, you need to demote him and put someone in charge of him because he doesn't know what he's doing anymore.
So this is why a bunch of streamers are getting together, and I guess they're going to start promoting a specific change or something. So I had a conversation with another content creator, and I basically said, and this is kind of proof in the pudding, is that to me, these people are so far away that I can't be fucked anymore to try to change their minds. Like the information has to go through a publisher ostensibly to Korea and be translated, and that they have to understand that we're playing the game at a competitive level and they're developing the game. And there's so much distance and translation that has to happen in time and all this kind of stuff that I just don't care anymore. I'm just going to play the game for what it is. I'm not enjoying Siege, so I'm not really going to participate in Siege. I certainly don't want to be in a Siege guild. Because all of that right there, I don't even know how to unpack that to even begin to start to like, if I had a conversation with the person that just wrote that, I wouldn't even know where to start. And how they're so far off. It's like, how do you even reel that back in? So I'm just going to play the game. Y'all want to make changes, y'all can make changes.
One thing,
the fuck out of that.
Like, one thing I would like to say here, if the guild skill they're going to add is going to be PA, and the guildmaster can use PA, and everybody runs in, right? And they're going to remove it from Witch and Wizard. That would be something they should say here on a Q&A. But since they didn't, I don't think that's going to happen, right? They're probably just talking about some other arbitrary thing. Doesn't matter, right?
Or what they should say, instead of adding more, they should say, we're going to let you hotbar these things so you can actually use them without navigating the guild menu while mid-war.
Again, this is direct feedback. The biggest problem in Node Wars, period, for the last 4 years, Witch and Wizard, PA, right? And they don't directly say PA here, but they say Witch and Wizards, right? And that they're not, and then they completely ignore.
They don't know.
They completely ignored the Witch and Wizard thing and just go on and talk about rambling about yada, yada, yada. We're going to do what we want to do. And it's just like, this is the most direct feedback. Like, this is the question that we've been wanting answered for 4 years. And we can see they clearly have our feedback. and they're not doing it right. They don't know what to do with our feedback.
The funny thing is, like, they're trying to do balancing based on data, but their data isn't even good. They're looking at KDA among Siege players. So think about how this works. Think about how class selection in a Siege works, right? If you're playing something like Witch Wizard, you're allowed to join the guild with lower gear score. You don't have to be as good of a player. Whenever there's a flavor of the month class like Guardian, everyone's going to play it, both good and bad players, high and low gear score. So you're not going to get insane KDAs on a class like Guardian, even if it is overpowered, because shitty undergeared players are going to be playing Guardian too, and they're going to be dragging those numbers down.
Yep.
Whereas if you have a class like Tamer, these Siege guilds aren't letting in Tamers unless they're super stacked and super good at playing Tamer. So yeah, their KDA is probably going to be higher, and the sample size is going to be way lower. Like, it's just the whole idea of balancing this based on a spreadsheet of kill stats. If they just played the game one time, like if they just went to a single siege once, they would see how ridiculous it is.
Dude, that Tamer, just that word Tamer in that paragraph or a couple paragraphs is such a punchline. It's amazing.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, PA in this case stands for Protected Area. It's an ability that gives you 1,000 DR, I believe, on Witch and Wizard is an ability. Valkyrie also has one of these, but Witch and Wizards is better, and they're a better class for Node Wars. So this ability has dominated the large-scale Node War scene for years now, and the fact that they address this question in such a way is an insult to not only the BDO players, but also is an insult to their own intelligence and their ability to actually take our feedback and utilize it properly, because we gave proper feedback here and they actually got it, and then they still didn't get it right even after we gave them proper feedback. And that's the most discouraging thing here, is that even after we gave them proper feedback and they had it and they answered it, they still got it wrong. And that's really, really sad.
Ready for some Destiny too. All right, so there's a couple other good points here. I want to keep going if we can get past that.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
So Ash Forest, we were talking about Ash Forest earlier. A hunting ground that recommends at least 300 AP, where adventurers can't defeat monsters efficiently, even with a full pen set. Do you think an improvement in gear is needed? They say Ash Forest was created with the intention of being a challenge rather than being a hunting ground where you just efficiently defeat monsters. So we plan to maintain this concept. However, as we previously mentioned, we found that the purpose for challenging Ash Forest was too weak, so we're preparing to update to boost it. So I like the idea where it's not, the Andy Twitch viewer that comes in, what's your trash per hour here? It's just like you're out here trying to find like the rare necklace or something. You're out here for a different item, not trash per hour. And I actually really like that. And I like that question was asked, and I like the answer that they gave.
I do think this is definitely the right direction for this type of thing.
Yeah, I like the answer. It's a bit weird though, right? Because essentially what they're saying is that Ash Forest is only for 0.001% of the population. And like from just a resource standpoint, it seems weird to develop content for the game that only 1 in every 10,000 players is going to participate in.
I think it's fine.
I mean, that's Siege too.
I mean, it's fine. Like you have to put in work for every demographic, right? They put in 90% of their work towards new players. They can dedicate 5% of their time towards an in-game grind spot and another 5% towards medium, right?
For costumes, at least they can do is give us a little.
I think this is fine. Like, I mean, if there was going to be like 5 of these 300 AP spots like this, I'd start becoming concerned. But 1 right now, and I think there's 2 in Orlito.
Yeah, I guess the spending that people at Ash Forest do is probably 100 times higher than the average player.
Well, I'm pretty sure
maybe it actually does. The ROI is actually good.
It's just estimate, right? And it probably still is pretty good. So let's see, $1.50 in. All right, so next is somebody who's been playing the game for less than 2 years. You were in Vertex during Man Up versus Vertex, right, Merlin?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so this question's for you. Guilds that are victorious in Conquest War and occupy a castle can't participate in PvP content, Node Wars, etc. Could you consider letting these guilds participate in Node Wars, even if it's limited to just tier 4 nodes? So that person obviously wasn't here for one of the biggest PvP arcs ever, and the interesting part is actually the back end of it. We set up this present structure of Conquest War with the intention of giving more guilds opportunities. So we currently don't have plans to change the spec of Conquest War. If the structure is revamped into a hopscotch / capture the zone form, there may be further changes included there may be further changes, including changes to present structure. Hopscotch?
So
I don't know what that means.
they showed an image at Heidel Ball where basically you would capture like Sausins, and then you can expand your
Is that what
territory
they're
of
referring?
influence.
Okay.
Now you can capture Sausins and maybe Sausin Wharf or Elric's or whatever their nearby nodes are. And so then you can basically control like a little area. And then I guess the benefits of controlling area would, I guess, ideally increase the more that you control. And if you control maybe enough, then you get to go for the conquest, maybe? I don't know.
All right, here's a really good one to show their ignorance. Everyone just focuses on IP in the current meta. Are there any plans for improvement? In terms of PvP, we're aware that skill damage for each class has increased significantly after the release of Succession. The greater emphasis on AP, DP efficiency is lacked, resulting in combat ending quickly. This might be an extension for our answer, blah, blah, blah. For instance, putting a different HP reduction variable in skill damage, parentheses, making HP decrease slower to give you more time to react, or changing the damage reduction formula to cap the amount of incoming damage based on DP. Okay, so I misread the last part. So they are finally considering changing damage reduction or just buffing it. So I think we've all been barking about that.
I think that the recent change to RBF proves that there's no chance they can do a DP rework that makes any sense.
I agree.
I would love for them to do. Before the RBF change, I would have said literally anything is better than what we currently have. But then when they did the RBF change, they actually proved me wrong. They actually proved that they can come up with changes to damage reduction that are so silly that at this point I'd rather them just not even fuck with it, because it's clear that whatever they do is just going to make it worse.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing is here, right, is everything is meant to counter something else, right? The reason Evasion is so good right now, and there's more to it than this, right? They gave everybody a whole bunch of free AP with AP brackets like 3 years ago when they entered the game, right? This is around the Kama Sylvan time. And so they gave everybody free AP, and the counter for AP is Evasion. The counter for Evasion is accuracy. The counter for accuracy is DR, right? So who would have guessed that giving everybody a whole bunch of free AP and incentivizing them to build AP would make the other three imbalanced in some way, right? And the only way I can really see to make it balanced is to greatly buff them in some way, right? And then if you do that, though,
fix is easy. The fix is easy, and it's always been easy. And it's shocking to me that they can't see the fix, because this is a company that balances everything on paper, right? They don't actually play the game.
Yeah.
They look at statistics and they balance based off of that. So why can't they look at the DR formula and see the fact that it does this? And that's obviously the problem, right? Like the DR formula needs to do this, and instead it does this. Evasion does this. Okay. I'm not even asking for this. We just need a nice linear progression on DR, and the problem is solved.
Yep.
If they just looked at the formula, they would see that. So I don't know why this is such a mystery after all this time.
Wait, can you go over that again? You lost me. So you want to just...
Hey, Moreland's over here drawing lines, right?
That's so complicated, bro.
Right?
Holy shit.
Basically, the
more DR to help the same amount that the previous DR did without it hitting a plateau. That's all you need.
So basically, for people who are listening to this on audio, what Moreland was showing visually over the camera is that it basically DR scales linear to a point, and it has greatly diminishing returns. Where evasion scales, and it gets more beneficial the more evasion you have. And scales exponentially. And so basically, they need to change the way that DR scales as you hit the higher thresholds of DR in order for it to match better in the current AP meta that we have. It wouldn't really solve everything, but it would be a huge step in the right direction.
This is how the game used to be. Before people had enough AP and DP to hit that part of the curve that flattens out, it was just a linear progression the whole way up, and time to kill was fine. DP was fine. Like, there were different builds that were viable back then. But now that everyone's AP is way over that point and DR still maxes out, like it makes sense that they maxed out DR back in the day, because otherwise you get to a point where people with full DP builds would be unkillable. Like, they would take one damage from your hits, right? So they had to build in some kind of protection against that. It's a lazy solution, but that was their solution, and you can at least see the argument for it. But that was I mean, that hasn't been the case for at least 2, maybe 3 years. Like we're past that point in the formula now, and we still have a damage reduction that's built around people with like plus 15 gear. Basically, it makes no sense.
Right. Yeah, I can see. I mean, I do think they need to go back to the drawing board, and I think right now it's a core problem with the game, and there's several ways they can tackle that by maybe reducing AP brackets or changing the DR scaling, or maybe changing something else that we are not aware of, right? But anyway, as they need to look at the core of the problem, right, and from the ground up, maybe even evaluate how they want people to be scaling, because this problem will come up again, and maybe 2 or 3 years now if BDO lasts that long, right? When we have more AP, more DP. Yeah, when we have more AP, more DP, then it'll be a problem yet again.
Look at how constantly they demonstrate their lack of knowledge when it comes to this stuff. The first line of the answer to that question is, in terms of PvP, we are aware the skill damage of each class increased significantly after the release of Succession, which placed a greater emphasis on AP and reduction in DP efficiency, resulting in combat quickly ending. Yeah, always. Even before Succession, time to kill was extremely high, and everyone did glass cannon builds.
Yep.
What are they talking about?
It's been a problem since they came out with AP brackets, really, and people push higher.
I've got a unique perspective on this. I was building a evasion witch like you had in Xbox. I was 245 AP because I hit pin, and like 380 something, 390 DP. I was fucking tanky. It was the most fun I've ever had in RBF. I could take hits, I get knocked down, air smash, down smash, walk away, bomb heal, reset, kill somebody. It was so much fun. I had a bunch of human damage. It was a really cool build. Then Succession came out. One shot. It just cut right through my 400 DP set. And so there was something that is in maybe Succession characters to have more accuracy or whatever the case. I don't know. But it was like 3 or 4 Successions, and as more and more Succession players came out, my DP set was less and less valued. So I find that to be extremely accurate.
Really, let's say Succession increased DPS overall by what, 20%. That's responsible for the AP meta. That's just not true. The AP meta was rigidly in place for years before Succession came out.
I think it just exacerbated it,
made the problem worse. Yeah, I'm not arguing it didn't make it worse.
Yeah,
but the idea that Succession is the cause of the AP meta is egregiously clueless.
Yeah, because it's been a problem for at least since the Central Marketplace came out. That's kind of the time frame where it really became a big issue. I mean, it's been an issue for about 3 years now, but it became a big issue.
I mean,
around
the AP meta has been rigid since Renown, essentially. Like, ever since we saw how AP brackets work, AP has been the meta. Ever since people could get above 253 AP has been the meta. It's the only time there was multiple different viable builds other than AP, like in a mainstream sense. Like right now, there's some people who are super geared who can pull off hybrid builds. But the only time that there was like mainstream viability for builds other than AP was back when everyone had less than 250 AP.
True.
And that was, 2016.
I'm not arguing your point. You're 100% right. But I'm saying that something happened. There's something in Succession that made a really cool hybrid DP build that I had completely inviable. I had like 730 evasion or something. It was great.
Probably Valkyries.
But anyway, so I want to power through a couple more of these if we can, and then get to other games, because there's a lot of really great context here. Here's one I really like. So do you guys know what the reading level of newspapers is supposed to be or is printed at?
5th grade.
There's still newspapers?
9th grade level. So you're supposed to have a 9th grade level of reading. And so I kind of correlate that to this question. Are there any plans to add different ways to facilitate gear progression for people played at soft cap? I don't want to read all the words. It's there. But basically they say that they focus the content in this game revolved around people having TET gear. And that if you have pen gear, you're above the curve, but you need to focus on getting your gear to TET. And I think that's a really interesting idea. It may have been self-evident, but I think it's interesting to hear them say that. So like when you're a new player, getting everything to TET is apparently what this game sees like the end game for most players as.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I mean, like cool. Anybody who's past that is in the top 1% of the 1%, right? If you have pin, you're not in the majority, you're in the minority.
Not anymore. I don't think Penn is 1% of 1%. Not even close. I would say at this point, like maybe full Penn is probably 1% of players or less. But having at least some Penn gear is very common nowadays. I mean, even among casual players, you're going to have some pins here and there, and you're going to have at least a few TED accessories too. Even if you don't have pin armor, like TED accessories, very, very common. I mean, everyone gets a free one just for the season at this point.
Yeah, so I just thought that was good for context, right?
Yeah.
Their ninth grade reading level is TET. I'm good with that.
That explains the DR formula, because I mean, TET gear, the DR formula still makes sense at TET, right? It's Pen and beyond where DR starts to not make any sense. So yeah, it is clear that they're not balancing the game for people with Pen gear.
Somebody in chat just said that too, right? It's the reason balance is jacked. You're not even considering Pen with Caphras. So there's a couple of other cool things. You know, you've got other games. You know, are you still going to focus on BDO for 5, 10, 15 years? They said, of course. Why are updates from Korean servers take longer or sooner than other regions? Translation. When will the PvP system be updated? Never. BDO is such a wonderful. This is such a funny question, and I think this is like a really good representation of a part of BDO.
And before we go to that question, can we just, on the one you just said about Korean servers, can we just call them out for clearly and blatantly lying to us in that one? Let me read this sentence to you, because this is they are lying. This is a bold-faced lie. While we try to maintain this weekly update, large updates such as Odalita take longer to localize and are prepared on a separate schedule.
I missed that.
They're saying that the reason Odalita has taken this long is because of localization. There is zero chance.
You're right.
0.00% chance that is a true statement. It is 100% a marketing thing. It does not take 10 months to localize the half-assed expansions that they do in Black Desert Online. It takes maybe 1 month, like with a single translator. I'm sure they could do it in a month, even if they only hired one person to do it.
Well, yeah,
it does not take 10 fucking months to translate 30 new quests and like some fucking town names. Give me a break, dude.
But it does take 1.5 years to translate Manos from Korea to English.
It's just, I mean, it's like, it's kind of ridiculous, right?
How
like
long it took us to get Manos?
They actually sent out emails for Ordolito at one point. They sent out emails for it and like everything. And then I think New World is like, oh, we got delayed. And like, okay,
it's clearly just following New World delays. It's so obvious at this point. They were ready to release Odalita in May, and now it's like, oh, we have our translator. Just, he forgot the language. He had to learn it again.
No, that was a good catch. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be concise here. So yeah, bold-faced lie for sure. So this question is really interesting because it comes from like a different perspective than that's mostly put onto Twitch. Why is such a wonderful game like Black Desert still limited to the obvious and boring guild versus guild PvP? Do you okay. So I'm with that, right? Like all right. That is a funny question by itself, but the follow-up question is really good. Do you intend to add arenas or other PvP systems for players to enjoy? Also, will you consider territory wars to break? Will you consider territory wars to break the homogeny of some of the large guilds? I don't know what that means. So this is really bad. I'm gonna read this word for word. As announced at the Heidel Ball at home, it's in caps. We are planning to host siege wars between actual regions, which has happened. For example, we recently held for the first time Southeast Asia versus Thailand. And apparently Sasha got in there somehow. Is he part of Southeast Asia? 2 regions in Asia serviced directly by us. We hope you'll stay tuned for more in the future. Besides just actual regions, the territory war in quotes between Calpheon and Valencia that was previously tested in Black Desert Global Labs will once again go under development. For now, the updates for Node War Conquest will come first, but afterwards we plan to expand upon the territory war as well. They're bringing it back. What is dead may be resurrected.
I thought for sure we had given them enough feedback where they would never even dare consider that again. I have a
Moreland
video on
has a
this
face
somewhere.
of-
I think I
Moreland
have
has
the
a
video
face
on
of
it.
shock for Spotify, and he's trying to find the words of disgust.
So the way we're gonna fix Siege is we're gonna have NA versus South America sieges. It's gonna be lit. That'll fix everything.
Well, there's so many problems with this, right? Because like, all right, this guy asking the question obviously is newer to Black Desert, right? I think most newer players who experience Node Wars today would say this is laggy, this is not fun, I'm not invested into it because nobody cares about what guild they're in anymore. And I can get that, right? If you didn't play BDO in the first year or two, you probably don't really understand the siege, and don't really have that thorough enjoyment of it anymore. There's a very low chance you do. So I get where he's coming from in that he finds it boring, because I think today's siege is very, very boring, right? I get that. From a new player, I get that.
I'm sorry, I thought that was a different question, and then I saw the backup question. I was like, oh shit, this is a different one.
But then he follows it up, right? I get that, but then he follows it up with a PvP arenas. Like there's Red Battlefield, there's a 5v5 arena, there's literally guild.
Stop.
What's it called?
No, stop. Hold on. This is what he's saying. He wants World of Warcraft or BDO mobile arenas, where you just go queue for arena. This is my ranking, and these are the rewards I'm going to get for hitting these rankings. Right? He wants stuff that you get in literally every other PvP MMO that's ever existed.
5v5 arena is an atrocity, dude. It died within hours of being days. It died.
Well,
within
I'm saying like that's the evidence there that they can't do it. Right? They've tried it.
Look at BDO Mobile; they can do it. The arenas in mobile are perfect.
That's a different development team. It's a different team. The guy over there is 5-head as fuck. I wish he was on the Black Desert PC team, because that dude is a genius.
That's what we've been talking about. There's a lot of stuff from mobile that's being implemented on PC. Like a lot of the changes we get on PC are because of how successful they were on mobile. It would not be hard.
Like RNG boxes.
Yeah, exactly. It would not be hard to put that stuff over to PC.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. If they could do it right, then it'd be awesome. But the fact is, they've tried it numerous times and it has not been successful. And I think that maybe if the genius from the mobile team comes over and does it, then I'd be all for it. But you know, they've just made changes to Red Battlefield that were terrible, right? We've had the 5v5 arena that failed. We have
what is going on with BDO right now? Why are they missing every single shot that they're taking? Like, it's not. it didn't used to be like that, right? I mean, no, like really, what happened? Did all the devs go to mobile? Did all the devs go to Crimson Desert? I feel like for the past, like especially in 2020. Everything that they say, I'm like, who are these people? Where are the devs that made the game that we all fell in love with? It's so it feels like they sold it to a different company almost.
I need to back up Potion Shop, because on episode 4 or 5 or something like this, Potion Shop went on like a 2-minute Potion Shop thing where he's like, I think BDO is currently suffering because they're working on other projects and they took devs and moved them elsewhere. And now you just brought that up. So I'm backing up my boy Potion Shop.
I do think they did it. I do think
that conspiracy theory.
I mean, at this point, that's the only thing that makes sense. Like, but the problem is they still have over 100 people. They still have over 100 people working on Black Desert. But I guess it's just all new people. I don't know.
Yeah, I think what they do is I think it's twofold. I think one, they took a lot of their talent on new stuff, and I do think the pace of content that they're pushing out right now is just it's too ridiculous. Fast, too rushed. Right? If they tried doing half the content and raise the quality, it'd be so much better, right? But if you look at like what have we had this year? Succession, we've had Guardian, technically, right? We're having a new Hashin class. We've had Crow's Nest. We've had Grind Spot revamps. We've had all these different like crazy amount of changes. And in Korea, they're doing Ordolito, and they're doing like crazy like also stuff with Ordolito. And it's like that. There's so much they're trying to accomplish that I think that's the quality level that they, in order to push out the amount of content they have to lower the quality standard. And I think that's just they're lowered it to the point where it's just it's unenjoyable now, right?
So let me do this. Question: Will Mysteries of Summer return?
No, don't read
answer. Listen, this event will return once the Nerds and Words get done with their brainstorming. No, this event will return once we believe we can deliver a more polished event with less problems (parentheses bugs and possible unfairness from leaked information) in parentheses. Currently, there are no plans yet for the event to return. They recognize that they couldn't put out a quality product, so they didn't do it.
I appreciate
golf
that.
clap. Right? Like, hey, okay, well, you passed it off to Kakao Games, and they did what you didn't want to happen, but that's fine. I like that they have that mindset, and I think that dovetails into what we were just talking about, right? If they took that idea,
the problem here.
I rather, and I think we're part of the problem.
What?
Even us three in this room, I think we're part of the problem where if there's a week or two of like no events or no content, we're just like, why isn't there an event? Why can't they do something like this? I think we're too quick to bitch and moan, and we're too addicted to the drug that is their weekly updates. And so I feel like that, or maybe not just us, but definitely the whole community, if something doesn't come out, right, or they don't reset the servers, whatever the case is, if they don't do what's expected, this expectation, this bar that they've set for themselves, their Twitter blows the fuck up.
They do need to reset servers. Regardless of content, they always need to reset servers, for sure, every week.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But they've set this massive bar for themselves, and they really just need to go, hey, so this is the new normal. We're going to come out, we're going to reset the servers every week so Potion Shop doesn't kill us. But we're only going to come out with content patches every other week. But they're going to be more precise, and they're going to be better. I think everybody would welcome that, and I think that would alleviate so much pressure from them.
I think there's so much easy, low-hanging fruit to do, right? Like, if you just think about it, they don't have to do this big content updates. Like, imagine if they just made one succession actually fun every 3 months. That's 4 months of great content out of the year, and it's not very hard. Like, add like 3 abilities to a class or something, right? And then balance it properly for the first time ever. I mean, that alone would make these successions fun and be super easy.
I think the last thing the game needs is more successions or more classes or more any of that. I think that what they need to do is take these ideas that they have and just make them good. Right now, we have 100 different pieces of content in BDO that are all operating at 5% of their potential. Like, half the life skills in the game are operating at 5% of their potential. All this new shit that's coming out, Crow's Nest, Otter Papu Island, all this stuff is operating at 5% at most of its potential. Like, these things could be 10, 20 times better than they are. Instead of having 100 things that suck, just add 3 things that are actually good. And you're right. We don't need an update every week. We can just do server resets every week and do content once a month.
Yeah,
it's fine. Like, there's lots of stuff to do in the game, but just make things good. Stop doing all this 5% complete shit.
Yep.
I still can't. I was re-listening to the podcast. I still can't get over Otter Papu thing, right? I still think we should just like totally shill that as loud as we can. Just be like, this is the best thing ever. We need more of this. Just like completely ironically bury their fucking nose in it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's like, I definitely think that their scope has been bloated based on what they've previously done. They obviously don't have the same team size that they used to have. And so they need to bring down their scope to something that's manageable by the team.
That's what we were arguing about in episode 2. They have more developers now in BDO than they have ever had. So it's not that they're downsizing BDO. It's probably the case that the talent has left and that whoever these new people are have no idea what the fuck is going on. But the game literally has more devs than it's ever had. Pearl Abyss is like quadrupled in size since BDO was founded. It's a way bigger company than it was in the past. And
assuming that's true, then it's even worse, right? That the quality standard has gone down despite having more developers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is the issue here? Is it a leadership problem? Like, is it just the fact that they can't find new talent and all the good devs are on BDO Mobile or Plan 8 or whatever new games are coming out? Like, it's shocking that with all the extra money and resources that they have, and I would assume that they could attract more talent than ever with the kind of money that they have. I'm pretty sure they're the biggest game company in Korea now, but it's just like,
wow.
I don't know where it's going.
I'm just thinking about them being the biggest game company.
PUBG might be bigger. It's really close. Bluehole.
You think Bluehole has 600 devs?
Well, they made a lot of money on PUBG. I don't know if they're bigger than
I don't think they made as much money
Pearl Abyss
as Black Desert, man. This game fucking pumps it.
I mean, I think Pearl Abyss probably makes more money, but I don't know. Do you judge it based on fan size or do you judge it based on player base?
I think PUBG fans are way fatter, so let's judge it on that.
Yeah, it's
definitely on fan
I'll give them a
size.
run for their money eventually, all right?
Not if you keep eating bone soup.
All Is there anything else in here that's enjoyable before we move on?
This is fun to read just because, if Chad, if you guys want to lose some brain cells, listen to this question. Does the likelihood of being CC'd increase when you customize the appearance of your size, body height, etc.? For example, do longer arms increase the range of grabs, or does a larger body result in more area for skills or CCs to hit? So I just want to thank whoever asked that question. Very important, hard-hitting stuff. Answer: customization does not affect the chance of being hit. You can rest assured you can customize to your heart's content. So I'm glad we cleared that up.
I'm gonna make Jumbo Ranger, and then everybody's gonna be trying to hit me, and not knowing why they don't hit me.
I don't know. The fact that they said rest assured, I'm starting to think that there might be something to it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do some.
There's actually something going on here.
All of a sudden, 2 heads onto something. He's 6 head. Holy shit! Yeah, Chad's like bullshit. So that's what I had for the Heidel Ball. But I think that gave some context and some into their where their heads at, where the other questions weren't so telling. I feel like these were. And the fact that they said that they're going to bring back the development on Calpheon versus Valencia makes me very happy.
Hell yeah. Delete Medaya Castle.
Tier 1 guild.
That would be a good outcome, actually. Everything else,
they said they're deleting Medaya Castle. Last time they talked about Calpheon versus Valencia, they literally said we are deleting Medaya Castle. So, that's coming back.
Well, I think that was a Snake thing because they were there for like tens or dozens of weeks, right? So now they're kind of camping out in Valencia. So let's see if it turns into Calpheon versus Medaya. Well, they seem to be fans of Snake now. So
Valencia Castle. It's too far away.
Just do Tuvenkroon instead. You imagine sieging in Tuvenkroon. Oh my god!
Heidel has a castle that doesn't get used. We could delete Medaya and Valencia and just have Heidel versus Calpheon.
Let's use Kron Castle, right? Let's make the tier 1 siege like a real thing.
Hell yeah, dude!
Oh, that'd be cool.
Tonight to tier 1 siege.
Am I going tonight? It's Saturday.
Shit, it's Saturday.
Yeah, we do this on Saturday. Last week we did it on Sunday.
But never Friday.
Never Friday.
All right, next topic.
I play Call of Duty on Friday.
That's all we have. That's all we have. So Fractured is the next game we're going to be talking about. That's it for Black Desert.
Can I do something related before we move on to Fracture?
Yeah, sure.
So Cacao Games with Corn, I forgot, Khan, some other developer, I forgot the name of the company, came out with but Cacao Games put out this game, Guardian Tales. It's a mobile game. And so I really want to tell you guys, hi buddy. Yeah, I see the clock. Daddy's working. I'm sorry, buddy. Everybody say hi to little Tim. Yeah, I see what time it is.
Aw.
That's a roll clock. Daddy's got to work. Can I talk to you later, buddy? All right. Cute interruption. He says, yep. Sorry. Guardian Tales. Guardian Tales is a new game from Cacao Games, and it's actually really good. It's actually really good. It's got vibes of
what kind of genre is it?
It's like a Zelda game, but it's funny and it's got puzzles. It's kind of like an old school 8-bit kind of looking thing, but it's got kind of the cell phone thing that you'd expect, like stamina or energy or whatever, and tiers and stars of different things. And you can definitely pay to win, but I don't feel like I'm pay gated through nearly any of the content. Like, it's super easy to upgrade your stuff, and the storyline is really good.
Do you fight other players?
There's an arena. I haven't done it yet, but there is an arena. Yeah.
Is Guardian Tales related to Guardian and BDO at all?
No, but the icon in the game, anytime there's an icon, it's like the Black Spirit icon, which is really interesting. And so it's heavily Cacao gamed, right? But it's really good. I don't know how to describe it except for it feels like a Super Nintendo like Forest of Mana or whatever that game was, and some of those games.
Well, I was really curious about this actually because about 2 years ago they took about a $200 million loan, I think is what it was, and it didn't go to Black Desert. I can tell you that. And so I was wondering where it went, and so that answers my question. Is I guess they paid some developer to develop a phone game for them.
Yeah, so download it. It doesn't really run well on BlueStacks, but put it on your phone and try it out. I made the Guild Aftershock. It's fun.
What's it called?
I'm having more fun with it. Guardian Tales, Tales. I'm having more fun than I did on BDO mobile.
Oh, I was hoping it was like Guardian Tales.
No, not like no.
I can't be like a fox guardian.
But follow the story a little bit. Like take your time with it.
Or like a squirrel guardian.
I see right here. Yeah. All right. I'm installing it now.
It's like to be friends with me.
Maybe a skunk guardian.
This is what it's like to be friends with me, isn't it?
Actually, here I'm gonna put it up to my camera. All right. I want to watch the trailer for it.
None of those characters have tails. I don't get it.
Shut the fuck up.
It reminds me a lot of that little stream game that you can play where everybody gets to sign up and pick a character and place them on the map for your stream.
It really reminds me of Secret of Mana is what it reminds me of.
Do you think we can get sponsored?
Oh my gosh.
I'm pretty sure my last couple it's probably different. So I got this game because it was I'm sorry. Who's the girl that does the social media? What's her name? She's a CM. Starts with an A. I forgot her name, but I follow her like personal Twitter, and she retweeted something about it. I'm like, oh shit, they came out with this. And so I don't know if there's a lot of overlap to where the people that I call out in the partner Discord and call them shit and fuckheads and stuff like that, where there'd be a lot of overlap there, where they'd be adverse to maybe a little bit of that. So I might stream it if I can get it to run on BlueStacks a little bit because I genuinely like it. Avalis, thank you, GVG.
Well, that'll be interesting to check out. I'll have to talk about this next week a little bit. I'll try it out.
Game.
Yeah,
I didn't think I needed it, so I started playing a little bit of Hearthstone, and then I picked this up, and I find myself catching the dailies, like the Awakening and all the like really complicated stuff that you think is going to be super pay to win. It just
Awakenings.
It's shockingly low. Like you can just swipe and be huge, right? But it's not like, oh man, if I really
is it convenience or is there other players in it that you can fight?
It's not convenience. There's other players you can fight, but it's really just about the main story and finding enough gear to get through that. And you're never really gated through like transactions to be able to do that. Or
so you can just keep on playing more like BDO if you wanted to.
So I feel like they give you enough stamina to roll through the main story and stuff. But try it out. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to keep playing it. It'd be interesting to talk about next week. But I'm laying in bed. It's
interesting that Cacao is doing something other than BDO. I think that's the most interesting part of that, right? Like I kind of this thing of Cacao for NA and EU is just BDO. Then that's it, right?
I bought a battle pass.
What happened to that Air game? It's got renamed, right?
Like twice.
What's it called now?
Aeon or something. EYON, I believe. Yeah, they're still working on that. People keep telling me the combat's gotten better.
Elion, right?
Yeah.
Is that ever coming out?
I hope not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they'll probably eventually push it out. I mean, they already have a game studio or Cacao Games over here, so they already have employees that can run it, right? So all they have to do is push it out and do very bad customer support, and they'll make some money.
I've talked to somebody who may have been close to the company at one point or another, who told me that it was a fucking disaster.
Well, so, I mean, the problem was that they basically they partnered. Cacao KR partnered with Bluehole to make it, and what it is imported everything from their previous MMO, which was Terra from like forever ago or something. So like
the quality of
asset flip.
Yeah, it was really, really bad.
The quality of PUBG mixed with the pay to win of BDO. That's gonna be
yeah. Oh my gosh! Yikes! But by me, it's a Black Desert ripoff. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I'm pretty confident they're probably going to release it at some point, even if it's just put it on the Steam store and then let people play it for a little bit, right?
I don't know.
For Bless Unleashed on PC.
The MMO market's in a weird spot. I'm kind of cozy with BDO right now, but I definitely have my eye out. It's so from my perspective with streaming, I've been streaming for 2.5 years, and you guys have been streaming like BDO for like a year or something. Like the big guy's been streaming BDO for like a year or so before I got into it, and it's interesting the thought process of just like taking what you've built with the game and then just moving it completely to a different one. And I'm so fucking excited to do that one day. I really am, but watching Summit1G play ESO and just like following his Twitter updates makes me super glad that I'm playing BDO, not ESO right now.
Do you think this new Guardian Tales game has any impact on what BDO players will experience through customer support? Like, do you think we're going to have worse customer support now because they're part of the team might be on this new game?
I think Kakao Games is making enough money through Bluehole, BDO, and all their other revenue sources where they hired their own team to support a mobile game in the way that people expect it to be supported, because mobile games are huge revenue centers that Kakao Games was missing. So now they have it, and quite frankly, that game has a shitload of potential. So I think the opposite might be true, where some of the resources are being diverted from publishing this game to focus on what's obviously going to be a massive revenue center for them.
Interesting. Now, Morlin, we cut you off earlier about your what you were doing this week. Wonderful time to jump in on that for Fractured. What are your thoughts on it?
It's interesting. So right now it's the alpha, so there's not a ton of content. You can pretty much max out and explore all the different areas and stuff in about, I would say, like 15 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
And then you've kind of seen and done everything there is to do. The only thing that we haven't done yet is build a city, but we've sort of seen other players build cities and get a sense for what the process is. But I think they've got a good little foundation for a game. It's aiming to be like an open-ended sandbox game where everything's very player-driven. There's a couple starter NPC towns, but that's all they're really meant to be, is starter towns. You're not supposed to actually live out of an NPC town. Everything is supposed to be player-driven.
Okay.
The final version of the game will have 3 different planets, and each planet has different rule sets in regards to PvP. So there's like a full Care Bear planet, there's a full free-for-all like Darkfall fuck everybody planet, and then there's the middle planet, the human planet, has kind of like a UO style alignment or justice system where you can take criminal actions. You have the friction of being able to gank and loot people, but there's also consequences that come along with it. So you have to measure those decisions and decide who you trust, and it's got that kind of element to it. So I think the human servers of the game are going to be hopefully the most populated, because I think those will be the most interesting. I'm not really a big fan of either of the other 2 planets that they have, but there's going to be some form of travel between all these planets. So like there will be a way for the PvE players to temporarily visit the human planet, although I don't know if they'll be able to live there. I think they have to go back after a certain amount of time or something.
Okay.
But all that stuff hasn't really been implemented yet, so it's hard to say how it's going to play out.
So this is an MMO, right? Just to be clear.
Yeah, this is a full-blown persistent world MMO. And the thing that I like the most about it is that, even though it's missing content right now, it foundationally it feels good. Like when I play early access for other MMOs, things are rubber banding, they're laggy, the game doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And this game already feels good. It has kind of like Path of Exile style combat. So you have different you have different specs that you can go into. You have a big talent tree, and you could focus more on melee or bows or magic, or you can do some hybrid things. There's a stealth, there's like summoning that hasn't been added yet, but I think there's going to be animal taming and summoning as well. So there's going to be a bunch of different ways to build your character, and the combat seems to be pretty solid. Like your abilities are responsive. You can do a little bit of animation canceling, kind of like in PoE. If you start to swing your weapon and then you move, you know how like when PoE was new, you couldn't do that. You were locked in, and the game and the combat felt really clunky, especially early game when your attack speed was low. And then they finally added animation canceling, and it was like a whole new fucking game. It actually felt like you were in control of your character. It felt way smoother. That's how Fractured feels. Like the movement and the abilities feel very smooth. if you start to cast a spell and then you move, it'll cancel the spell, and you have to learn sort of how to time your movement and your spells well, so that if you want to do like a hit and run, there's a skill to timing that properly. So yeah, I think the PvP could be really cool. I think that it's got things like local banking and scarcity of resources where, for example, like if you want to build spider silk armor, that's like one of the that's the good mage armor right now. There's one area of the game that has all the spiders, and so players can build cities in that area and kind of control the market for spider silk. And since all the banking is local, if you're trying to buy spider silk armor on the other side of the map, the prices are going to be higher because someone would have had to cart that shit all the way over the map to sell it to you. So it's got kind of that element of it going as well. Fast travel is extremely limited.
What will I be doing in the game? Cool. Like what's like my main goal here? Are the dungeons, raids planned? What's the main thing?
Yeah, so they're gonna have they talked about an infinite dungeon, a procedural infinite dungeon called the Labyrinth that you can go into, where the deeper into the labyrinth you go, the better the loot becomes.
That's cool.
That's not implemented yet. For alpha right now, there's basically there's like a bunch of wilderness where you can kill deers or bears or whatever, and then there's like 3 I don't know, dungeons or camps. It's all out like outside right now. There's no dungeons that you actually go into, but there's basically 3 main areas. There's like the undead spider area, there's the goblin area, and then there's like the earth elemental area in the middle. And yeah, right now the game is basically you can go to these areas, you can explore them, you can kill the mobs, you can the way you learn skills in the game is by killing a bunch of mobs that use that skill. So for example, like if you want to learn earthquake is an ability that the earth elementals have. So you have to go and hunt greater earth elementals in the center of the map and kill a certain amount of them to unlock the earthquake ability.
That's so cool.
And then you have a certain amount of abilities you can memorize at one time based on your character's stats. So you'll memorize like between 6 to 10 different abilities based on like if you want a bunch of weak abilities or if you want a few really strong abilities. And so yeah, it's they've got a really good start so far.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Darkfall-esque to what you just said.
Yeah. Yeah, the world design feels like an isometric Darkfall in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was gonna say isometric Darkfall with a little bit of here and there. So it's Albion Online, look with it's Albion Online, X Darkfall or something like that. Can I get a key?
Yeah, we're talking about Fractured. That's what the game we're talking about for people who are just coming in.
I didn't realize I peeked a little bit of your stream, but you were just like farming or doing something that just I didn't have time to really like dig in and warm up a sandwich and fucking watch. So but hearing you explain it, I definitely want to try that out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep that game on my radar. I want to see what it turns into a little bit.
Yeah, I mean it's just alpha right now.
That's okay.
Like I said, there's probably 15-20 hours of content that you can get out of it, and then you're going to be maxed out. But I do definitely want to play around a little bit more with PvP. If we can get right now for the alpha, I think they're just using the Care Bear rule set. There doesn't seem to be an ability to flag up and kill other people. So I really want them to add that soon so that we can test that out, because there were some players that we were running into, and I really wanted to be able to bully them or have that kind of danger from being out in the world.
More or less.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. This alpha is going to run a few more weeks, and then I guess they'll probably close it down and do some updates, and then release the next alpha tests sometime in the future. So it's really interesting, though. I'm definitely going to keep an eye on it, and also I'm going to be doing a Q&A with the lead dev on Wednesday. So if you guys are interested in the game and you want to learn more about it, we'll be asking him questions live Wednesday at I think probably noon Pacific time.
Can you ask if he ever played Darkfall?
What's that?
Can you ask him if he ever played Darkfall or has any knowledge of it?
I'm pretty sure he did. Yeah, I think this is a guy who played UO and Shadowbane and all those games, because I've heard him reference a bunch of different games in other videos that I've seen of him talking to people. So
I'm just inherently drawn to people who enjoyed Darkfall. Just in general, it was just such a great game. But if somebody gave him like $5,000 or something, it just would have been so much better. That game was built on somebody's like the money they had in his wallet.
Yeah, well, and the other major problem with Darkfall was the lack of any meaningful alignment. So like in Darkfall, everything was just team deathmatch, right? If Red was dead, anyone who wasn't in your guild just got it. That was it. Like you killed them, you took their stuff. There was it didn't really have that emergent component of trying to decide like if you could trust someone or not. You just never trusted anyone. So there's gonna be, yeah, the people who want that rule set can, I guess, live on the demon planet for Fractured, but for those of us who enjoy the more, that kind
civilized
of uncertainty. Well, yeah, I mean, it's not even about it. Part of it is about being civilized, but part of it is just the unpredictableness, right? If you can predict every encounter with another player, like it's fun to go around killing people indiscriminately, but it's also kind of repetitive. If you get into a situation where you're not sure who you can trust and who you can't, or you're not sure if it's worth the penalty to kill this guy and take his stuff, you have to you might roll up on someone grinding and it's like, hey, how you doing? How long have you been out here? You might try to see how much loot he's got on him. There's like different mind games you can play with each other. There's traps you can set. Like when it's just when there's no alignment system, there's no traps that are being set. There's no like social interaction. You see someone and you blow them up, right? So I like games that have the option of being aggressive without making it the default behavior that everybody takes, because there's no reason not to.
That made arcades very interesting at the beginning because I stole some potatoes and then I went to jail for that. It was great.
I know it doesn't seem like I really enjoy that kind of stuff, but I really like seeing how us as a human condition interacts with each other when there's no rules whatsoever. You just get kind of the raw, there's no penalty for anything. What happens in this kind of closed door simulation of life if it looked like this when there's
I think to get a proper way of that, you'd have to have permadeath, because people right now, if there's no permadeath, they're like, well, I could try it.
Here is akin, right? So if you lose everything that's on to you, the risk reward of just going out and gathering, just life skilling is just that was the thing that really resonated with me in Darkfall. Was I'd go out and gather and be like, well, I've been doing this for 30 minutes. Some guy with gear could come up and just fucking roll me. I should go back, or maybe I stay out for another 30 minutes. And then sometimes I'd go out with a weapon and kill the gatherer and talk shit to him and all that kind of stuff. So like being able to play the victim and the aggressor within the same hour sometimes, it was so exhausting.
And then when you add the lack of fast travel and local banking and things like that, you actually get subcultures that begin to develop in these games, because there's different regions of the map where people will make alliances and they'll set their own rules. And then like when people from other regions come into that area, they might not know what the rules are. They might not know how to act. There's certain areas of the map that are going to be very dangerous because the people who hold those territory are assholes. There's other parts of the map where, the people who hold the territory are friendly. And it's really cool to see all of that. And
we saw that happen. We see that happen in BDO for the super high end spots, right? Like you go in there and the mobs can kill you really very easy, right?
Like that in BDO. You saw some of that in Last Oasis, but yeah, you don't see any of that in BDO. BDO doesn't have
here's an example, right? Joe went into Histria and then basically he's like, hey, I'm just going to own this spot, and then Black Rose hunted him for a whole week because he just made that was something for them to do, right? Because he didn't respect their culture. And so I don't think BDO has hardly any of that, right? But I mean, there is a little bit of it in there to see. And I think that's interesting.
So imagine that but multiplied by 1,000. That's what you get in these sandbox games.
It's so much fun.
BDO doesn't have what I'm describing. You gotta.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I played Last Oasis for 300 hours, so I understand full well what that looks like.
Yeah, you got to be careful with giving Potion Shop games, because the last time you recommended a game to them, we lost them for 3 or 4 weeks. Just
That's true.
Building.
I literally did not stream. I didn't do anything. I literally just played Last Oasis all night, every day.
So that's a game you can play as a full-time job and still have more things to do. Fractured doesn't quite have that much to do right now, but I'm sure someday it will.
He's like, I just got settled in my new house, in my new life, but then Moreland showed me this new drug, and now I lost myself again. So you need to be a little more responsible with Potion Shop, please, Moreland. Thank you.
I'm very sensitive. I get addicted easily. That's why I have 10,000 hours in BDO, I guess. For better or for worse.
That's it.
Well, that's my active play time. That's not my AFK time. Well, I don't have anything else. I mean, have anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, I think we can end the podcast if you guys are good. It's a good one. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about. I think the Q&A was probably the most interesting part of it, really.
Yeah, so let's wrap this up and do a little after hours and call it a day, huh?
All
So
right.
this was episode 11 of Nerds and Words. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, either on Spotify or Potion or Maya's YouTube. I am behind on mine, so probably Potions if you're watching on YouTube. Moreland TV, Potion Shop, Tim Allen 1337. Give a little shout out to what you got going on, what we can expect from each other's channels, and content for the next week. Moreland, what do you got?
I don't know what I'm doing this week. I'll probably get back on BDO a little bit, and still start looping in a bunch of Ghost of Tsushima. I'm still really enjoying that game, and I feel like I've got a lot more to do in it. So, be a mixture of those two things.
And Wednesday you have the Q&A.
True. Yep.
Wednesday.
Q&A with the Fractured Dev on Wednesday. So we'll probably be checking out Fractured again, running around, killing some stuff, and I'm going to be asking that guy all the tough questions.
That's going to be live on your channel, 12 Pacific, roughly.
I think so. Yeah, I think 12 Pacific is when we're going to start.
Cool.
Awesome.
Potion, what's up with you, homie?
Well, I've been back on the BDO grind train, sold all my life skilling gear, and got a pin ogre. So the goal this coming week is to get a boss gear piece. Trying to get one pin boss armor piece a week. So next week we're going to go for Beg's gloves, and we'll see how we go. Hopefully by about Wednesday we'll get it. Maybe Thursday. Nice,
dude. I'm proud of you. So I'm Tim Allen 1337. I'm going to continue the grind on BDO. Now that I hit 63, I'm just a couple million silver away from getting a Tet distortion. So start working towards 289 Kudum, getting some good chill grind streams in. But also I'm weaving ranked Overwatch into my stream. And honestly, we're having a fucking wild, great time doing ranked comms live and interacting with people. So follow the channel. You never know what I'm going to do next. I don't even know what I'm going to do. So grab a drink, hang out. I'm going to be live Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So 5 days a week, having fun. Thank you guys so much. It's always a pleasure. Look forward to this every single week. Pull up our Twitch and watch some VODs if you're interested in some after hours. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching and listening. And we'll catch you guys next week, Saturday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, Nerds and Words. Thank you.